If you're a die-hard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. It's never easy being the new kid on the block, especially when you're Shedeur Sanders, walking into the NFL with a name that already echoes through college football history. Drafted 144th overall by the Cleveland Browns in the 5th round of the 2025 NFL Draft, the young quarterback entered the league with as much hype as expectation. But before he could even lace up for his first official snap, controversy found him, or maybe he found it. On June 17th, in the early hours of the morning, Shedeur was pulled over for driving a staggering 41 miles per hour over the speed limit. The posted limit was 60, and he was clocked going 101 for a guy whose footwork has dazzled scouts. That right foot might have been a little too heavy, and just like that, the narrative started shifting, not about his game, but about his judgment. Was this just a rookie mistake, or something deeper? Now, let's not rush to crucify the kid. We've all made some dumb decisions behind the wheel. But when you're Shedeur Sanders, son of NFL royalty, college football phenom, and newly minted pro QB, every little misstep gets amplified, and that's exactly what happened here. Social media lit up, critics pounced, and questions started swirling. Is Shedeur mature enough for the league? Does he understand the responsibility that comes with being the face of a franchise? And sure, the Browns didn't exactly burn a first-round pick on him, but this is a team that's in desperate need of a spark at quarterback. They've got 5 QBs battling it out, and no one's locked in as the starter. That means Shedeur doesn't just have a shot, he has a real shot. But in the NFL, opportunity is only as good as the discipline that comes with it. Enter Chad Johnson. Yeah, that Chad Johnson, or as we lovingly remember him, Ocho Cinco, a legend in his own right, especially to Bengals fans, and someone who knows exactly what it's like to live life in the NFL spotlight. In a recent episode of his podcast Nightcap, Ocho Cinco offered a take on the Shedeur situation that was both honest and refreshingly human. Obviously, you're not supposed to speed based on whatever the speed limit may be, he said. I think you just have to be a little more cautious, but it wasn't a takedown. It was more like a brother-to-brother moment, a guy who's been there, telling a younger guy, slow down literally and figuratively, and maybe, just maybe, that message is exactly what Shedeur needed to hear. See, Ocho Cinco's been pulled over too. Later in his career, he got cited for illegal window tint and even drove with a suspended license. Not proud moments, but real ones. He knows the stakes, and more importantly, he knows how quickly things can unravel if you let them. And so when he points out that Shedeur deciding to either get a driver, take an Uber, or simply rethink his whole approach to being behind the wheel is a step in the right direction, you listen, because Ocho Cinco isn't wagging a finger, he's offering a lifeline. He even joked, or you drive like I do and never go over 60 miles an hour. It's classic Chad, tongue-in-cheek, but with a very real message beneath the humor. Now, back to Shedeur and this golden window that's cracked open in Cleveland. Let's not forget, this is a team with a solid roster but no clear-cut answer at quarterback, and while the 5th round tag might suggest long shot status, history tells us that draft position doesn't always dictate success. Just ask Tom Brady or Dak Prescott. Shedeur has the tools, a quick release, a calm pocket presence, mobility when he needs it. And let's be real, he's got that at factor, the intangibles. What he needs now is laser focus. Because if he can keep his head on straight, there's no reason he can't climb that depth chart fast. But that means every decision, on and off the field, counts, especially now. The NFL doesn't just judge you on Sundays, they're watching on Mondays, Tuesdays, every day of the week. From the front office to the fans, people want to know if a guy can be trusted to lead. That means staying out of the headlines for the wrong reasons. It means showing up early, staying late, and putting in the work when no one's watching. And yeah, it means not flying down the highway at 101 miles per hour. Look, the speed alone is dangerous, but it's also symbolic. It says something about mindset, and right now, Shedeur's mindset needs to match his moment, because this isn't Boulder anymore. This is the National Football League. But let's also be fair, one mistake no matter how reckless shouldn't define a player. Growth happens when mistakes are acknowledged and learned from. And it's encouraging to hear reports that Shedeur's already taking steps to make sure this doesn't happen again. Whether that's hiring a driver, relying on ride shares, or just being more mindful, it shows he's listening. He knows what's at stake. He understands that the margin for error in the NFL is razor thin. And he's not some undrafted unknown. The spotlight will always find him. Not just because of who his dad is, but because of who he is. So now it's up to Shedeur to write the next chapter, and maybe, just maybe, this speeding incident ends up being the turning point, the moment when everything clicked. And the game slowed down not just on the field, but in life, because if Shedeur Sanders can match his talent with maturity, the Browns might have something special brewing in that quarterback room, a leader, a playmaker, a difference maker, and if he doesn't, if this ends up being the first in a series of poor decisions, well, we've seen that movie before too. The NFL is ruthless. It moves on quickly. Talent alone isn't enough. But if we believe what Ocho Cinco is saying, if we take him at his word, then Shedeur still has time to get this right. So here we are, a young quarterback with the world at his feet, a Hall of Fame father in his corner, and now a Bengals legend. Rooting for him from the sidelines, the script is all there, and sure, the Browns might be a mess at quarterback right now. But that mess could be Shedeur's miracle if he handles his business. The league is watching, his teammates are watching. The fans, oh, they're watching everything. And how he responds to this speed bump, pun absolutely intended, might tell us more about Shedeur Sanders than any combine stat or college highlight reel ever could. Buckle up, folks, because the Shedeur Sanders story is just getting started. And look, there's a reason this story is resonating with fans beyond Cleveland. It's not just about football, it's about responsibility, growth, redemption. It's about how we handle pressure when the stakes are high and how we bounce back when we stumble. Everyone wants to believe in the kid, and maybe that's because we see ourselves in him, a little raw, a little flawed, but full of potential. Maybe that's why someone like Ocho Cinco felt compelled to speak up, because he knows the journey. He knows the temptations, and he knows what's waiting on the other side if Shedeur locks in. One mistake doesn't make a man, but learning from it, that's how legacies are made. Let's see what he does next. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. In a twist that no one saw coming, Antonio Brown, one of the most polarizing figures in the NFL in recent years, has once again taken center stage, not for his skills on the field, but for something he said off of it. Known as much for his incredible talent as he is for his often headline-grabbing antics, Brown has ignited yet another firestorm during a recent Instagram live session. The former wide receiver let loose a comment that sent shockwaves through the football community while casually discussing team dynamics. Brown suddenly dropped a bombshell by referencing a former teammate in connection with a past legal accusation. What was meant to be a laid-back conversation quickly turned into a media frenzy, with fans and analysts scrambling to dissect his words and their implications. Now, before jumping to conclusions, it's important to remember that Antonio Brown isn't exactly new to controversy, whether it's walking off the field mid-game, engaging in public feuds with coaches, or dabbling in music and other off-field ventures. Brown has a knack for stirring the pot, but this time, things feel different. This wasn't just another boastful comment or ego-driven rant. His tone was serious, even somber. When he made the statement, he didn't name the teammate directly, but the clues he dropped references to the team, the position played, and even a specific season left little room for doubt among those familiar with the locker room landscape. Within hours, social media sleuths had already zeroed in on the likely individual he was referring to, adding more fuel to an already blazing fire. The reaction was instant and, unsurprisingly, divisive. Some fans praised Brown for his apparent courage in speaking out, suggesting that he might be shedding light on something that had long been swept under the rug. Others, however, were quick to criticize him for potentially damaging someone's reputation without providing concrete evidence. After all, accusations, especially in today's digital age, can spread like wildfire and leave lasting scars, whether or not they're ultimately proven true. And given Brown's own tumultuous history with legal issues and controversies, many questioned whether he was the right person to be raising such matters in a public forum. Was this a genuine act of whistleblowing or just another dramatic twist in the Antonio Brown saga? What makes this story even more compelling is the backdrop against which it's unfolding. The NFL offseason is already ripe with speculation, trades, and locker room gossip. Teams are reshuffling rosters, players are rehabbing injuries, and coaches are strategizing for the season ahead. Amid all this, Brown's comments feel like a ticking time bomb, threatening to explode into a full-blown scandal that could distract entire organizations. And the timing, absolutely uncanny, just as training camps begin to ramp up in media Access increases. This rumor has arrived at the perfect moment to dominate headlines and hijack press conferences. Already, reporters are lining up with questions, and team PR departments are scrambling to prepare responses. Interestingly, Brown's declaration may also reopen old wounds within the team he once called home. His time there was marked by flashes of brilliance and off-field drama, and relationships were often strained. Some teammates have been vocal about their support for him even after his departure, while others have remained conspicuously silent. Now, with this new revelation or allegation, depending on how you see it, former bonds are being tested. Will players come to the defense of the accused? Or will we see a wave of subtle confirmations in the form of cryptic tweets and interviews filled with loaded pauses and nervous chuckles? This could be just the beginning of a much larger unraveling. It's also worth noting that Brown's words could carry weight in the legal arena. If his statement triggers an investigation or revives an old case, things could spiral quickly. Law enforcement agencies and league officials are likely already paying close attention, and if any formal complaints are filed or reopened, Brown might be called in as a witness or even a central figure in the proceedings. For someone who's already faced his fair share of court appearances and legal scrutiny, this could be a dangerous game to play. Was this calculated? Was it reckless? Or was it simply a moment of unfiltered honesty? As always with OB, the line between genius and chaos is razor thin. Fans of the sport are also wrestling with the implications of this moment. If Brown is telling the truth, then his revelation could lead to long overdue justice or accountability within the league. But if he's exaggerating, or worse, fabricating, it could set a dangerous precedent for player-led gossip being treated as fact. The NFL has made significant efforts in recent years to promote integrity and player safety, including initiatives focused on mental health and legal education. A situation like this challenges that narrative and puts the league in a delicate position. Should they investigate, issue a statement, stay quiet, and hope it blows over? Every path carries risks. Meanwhile, Brown himself remains as enigmatic as ever. Since the incident, he hasn't clarified or walked back his comments. No Instagram stories, no follow-up tweets, just radio silence, which only adds to the mystique. Some insiders suggest that this might be part of a broader media strategy: tease, disappear, let the buzz build. Others believe it was a slip-up that he now regrets but is too proud to acknowledge. Either way, the silence is deafening. And in the vacuum, the rumor mill is working overtime. Podcasts, sports talk shows, and YouTube channels are dissecting every second of that live stream, hoping to uncover hidden meanings or catch something everyone else missed. As for the teammate at the center of all this, no official response has been made, at least not yet. However, sources close to the player have hinted that legal counsel has been consulted and that a statement may be forthcoming. If this escalates, we could see one of the biggest PR battles in recent NFL history, and the ripple effects could be massive, affecting endorsements, team dynamics, and even league policy. This is no longer just a locker room rumor. It's become a national conversation with real stakes and real consequences. Whether it fizzles out or explodes, one thing's for sure, we'll be talking about this for a long time. So, where does this leave us? In true Antonio Brown fashion, we're stuck somewhere between intrigue and disbelief. Is he a truth teller shedding light on a dark corner of the sport? Or is he, once again, playing the role of the disruptor, throwing verbal grenades and watching the fallout from a distance? No matter your stance on Brown, it's hard to deny the impact of his words. And while the full truth may take time to emerge, if it ever does, one thing is clear: Antonio Brown knows how to keep the spotlight on himself, and like it or not, the world is still watching. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!